This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glyn Lavender.
Hi and welcome to episode 544 of Shutters Inc. This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com, and joining me once again Melbourne, Victoria, with his animated scarf, Mr. Glyn Lavender from creativephotoworkshops.com.au. How are you?
And my cat Flame on my shoulder.
Yes.
So we thought it'd improve the IQ of the podcast and have my cat join the three of us and raise the standards. He's not going to say much, which is probably double the IQ of what we normally do. I'm well, mate. Yourself? Have you been good?
Yeah, I have. Have been good. My photo shoot is coming up in a week and a bit. That'll be,
before the next podcast.
Yeah, before the next podcast, yeah. So, looking forward to that. I've been on Photographer's Ephemeris to check out time of sunrise and angles.
When are you shooting again?
When?
What?
Fine art nude on the beach at daybreak. So, first thing in the morning.
So, I don't get fine art nude.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've shot it. And even when shooting it, I still don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point?
I don't know.
Okay.
I guess it's, I don't know, I guess it's looking for complementary lines in the landscape and in the human body.
But I notice there's always the female human body, it's never the male human body. Yeah. Very rarely do you see a man lounging over rocks naked at sunrise being photographed. I find so it's not the human body, it's the female human body.
Yeah, okay.
Which we're fair about. I mean, look, and it's funny, but it's literally just as we were about to start recording, an email came up from this is like neighbourhood website for your local area, and it keeps you updated and all sorts of stuff. And there's all sorts of groups and stuff, and so I'm in the photography group just for the sake of being to keep seeing what people are doing. And just literally as we did, someone posted up, "What's people's thoughts on us sharing fine art nude photos?" And I thought, what's the point? I mean, what are you? I guess when you're trying to share the photo, what are you saying?
Yeah.
I mean, if these people want to share these photos to this photography group, which, quite frankly, are full of mostly useless amateurs, and I mean totally useless. I mean, they wouldn't know a photo if it hit them on the face.
Yeah.
I mean, they take the most diabolical of snapshot with a phone in the worst possible light and post it as a photography.
Yeah.
And not saying there can't be art in that, but there's no art in this. Right. So I was like, well, so why would you want to share those photos to them? I mean, I've never shown a single one of my photos.
Right.
I mean, why would I? What am I looking for? If I was to share one of my photos in that group, what am I looking for? Oh, gee, Glyn, you're so good.
Yeah.
Well, I already know that.
Yeah.
So, I already know I'm awesome. You know. Yeah. So there's no point sharing with a group like. And then with the fine art, I mean, what? Oh, I just don't get it.
I guess I've seen the work of other photographers, and I will put Adam Davidson in that group. I like some of the stuff that he does, and
me too. He does some good stuff. It's all the same as everyone else's stuff.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that my stuff will look as good as that stuff, and so it will probably look the same as well.
So you're hoping yours will look the same as everyone else?
That's it. That is exactly it. But it's a first time for me. I've not shot the genre before. But I'm, just trying to give it a go and, see how I go with it. So,
oh, man, good on you. I mean, good on you for getting out and doing it.
Yeah. And to be honest, I mean, what you're saying about sharing it, I probably won't share them that widely. I'll probably pick one image and censor it and put it on Insta, and that'll be about it.
See, my father-in-law rails at every time he posts he does lots of art nude.
Right.
Every time he posts a photo on Facebook, Instagram, he rails the fact that they ban him, even though he mostly censors the images. They kick up a fuss, and he goes on these rants. I'm going, but that's the rules of the site. You know this before you post. Yeah. Doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means that's what these people don't do and don't want. It's like going into a library and yelling, "I like books! I like books! I like books! I like books! I like books!" all the way through for an hour. People might say, "Well, okay, you like books." But this is not the environment. We don't allow that kind of behaviour here. You can go outside and yell, I like books.
Yeah.
But please don't do it here. This is a quiet place. This is the rules in here, and you're breaking those rules, so we're kicking you out.
Yeah, I like riding my motorcycle at 160 kilometres an hour, but it doesn't mean I'm allowed to.
Yes, I like books. I like going fast whilst reading them. On a motorbike. That's always. I've always found that a bit bizarre that people scream and rant at Facebook, but you agree to the terms and conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
Bizarre. Well, I hope it's good for. I mean, I guess. Maybe look. I don't actively go out and seek art nude photography to look at ever. I mean, it's something that comes across my desk.
Yeah.
But I don't see a lot of variation.
Right.
I guess that's probably my. So it's easy to dismiss if you just see the same kind of stuff over and over again. Not easy to dismiss. Oh, gee, that's not good work. Well, it's just simply I've seen that before 1,000 times. It's easy to dismiss the work because it's not different.
I can relate to that in the way I consume content on Instagram. I'll discover a new photographer who just has this niche that they shoot really well, and it looks amazing. But after you've seen it 100 times in your feed, you just scroll on by. You know, the first 10 times you've gone like. But then after a while, it's just like, oh yep, seen that before. You know,
I found an old Facebook post of mine literally just a week or so ago, and it was me on occasional rant I do on Facebook about the boringly gorgeous.
Right.
Yeah, how your photos get lost in the boringly gorgeous imperfection of Instagram, and I mean, why would you even bother? Yeah, it's so boringly great that nothing stands out anymore because everything's there. Well, only things that stands out are the really bad. So maybe bad is the new art. Maybe bad is. So shoot bad, Bruce, and see if that has more of an impact.
Right.
Or just work your normal standards. So let's discuss the shoot because it's coming up. Yeah. What's your have you recce'd the site? Do you know where?
I haven't been there yet. I've looked at it overhead on Google Maps. It's a short beach, maybe 150, 200 meters long. That's got rocks at either end. So I'm figuring I've got good variation in landscape to work with without having to walk a gazillion miles, and the sun will rise just before 7 o'clock on the Saturday morning at just a little bit south of east, and as for the shapes of the rocks, that's really going to be a case of discovering it when I get there, which is a bit of a challenge, but that's the challenge.
What's the biggest lens you've got?
200 f4.
Yeah.
Unless I take my old camera, in which case I've got my 200 2.8.
That's not big though. That's no bigger. No. That's just no. I was thinking it'd be kind of interesting to shoot 600mm lens.
Yeah.
Because it's the visual, the viewpoint of that lens is quite different when shooting people in a portrait sense or a body sense, and therefore what it does to backgrounds would be quite interesting. And therefore, how do you change? It's the same way how shooting a 15mm lens of that kind of stuff elongates so many body parts that it changes up the average. You're not seeing the normal viewpoint, and I see a lot of the fine art nude is simply how we would see it with our eyes, as far as perspective goes, and maybe that, you can see the shapes and you can see the flow and all that kind of stuff, but the visual impact is there's a certain amount of similarity, or familiarity, I should say, because it's how we see the world. So, I don't know. What's your widest angle lens you got?
The 15.
Yeah, so maybe, do your shots, and then before you finish it, say, hey, let's just try some whack stuff. Shoot nothing but 15, and just to see what you can see that's different, and just see how that frees up your viewpoint to stuff. I think you might find it very interesting. As
I'm listening to you and I'm thinking about that, what I could do is I could charge up the batteries for the Geez, what was I shooting with before my A7?
850.
Thank you, the A850. Yep. And I could whack the 70 to 200 2.8 on that and put the 15 on my A7 III. And then I could, shoot with both concurrently.
Yeah, I would.
The thing is, the A850, I can't get the high ISOs that I can get out of the A7 III.
That's going to be an issue early more. Depends how much light there is,
until the sun comes up.
For the visual shooting process, you want to explore the opportunities that 200, for example, gives you to its extreme. I mean, shoot beyond what you think. I've already got it. Okay, well, how can I do it differently with the same lens? Yeah, okay, I've got the shot, and how can I shoot that differently? Yeah. Rather than saying, how can I shoot that with a different width? Right. First, you want to try and explore how can you shoot it differently at 200, because you'll find different stuff shows up if you get beyond what your initial. You've got these ideas and these visuals in your head of what you're going to shoot.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you're trying to accomplish that, if you think you've got it, you go right. Before we move anything, what's it like if I climb up here? What's it like if I move down there? What's it? Work the arcs of the shot.
Yep.
Before you change the viewpoint because viewpoint will change everything again. So,
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Of course.
So you want to exhaust that viewpoint before you explore other angles and other views
and other focal lengths. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think you might find the best shots you get are the ones you get past the time you got the shot.
Yeah, right. Okay? Yeah.
I've got the shots, but they may not end up being as interesting to you as the shots you find after that.
Once you start thinking outside the box, yeah.
Yeah, or just unthinking outside the box is probably a better way to do it. Yeah, don't think it, just see it. Just don't think about the shot you're getting. Don't think about I have to get the person in. What if you get a toe? What if you get an elbow? What if you get what shape can you get from the crook of the hip? And that's all you've got in the shot.
Yeah,
nothing else but a little bit of hip. Yeah. And a rock behind. And how does that turn to mill? Make the interaction between the hip and the subject in the background work. Yeah. You'll find, especially, and that's the thing with the 200mm viewpoint. Viewpoint's so narrow behind, you can make small bits of rock. Mm-hmm. Really look very interesting against small parts of shapes of other things.
Right, I gotcha. Yep.
So get the shot. So you should always shoot the shots you're going out to think you want to take, because that you need to do that. But I often find the stuff you shoot that you weren't thinking about are better than the stuff you were thinking about.
Yeah.
So see how that goes anyway. And then once you've done that, and you go, okay, now let's got 15 minutes. Let's do 15 with 15. There you go. There's a little snappy little slogan for you. 15 with 15, and shoot nothing but ultra wide, and just see how that all is different as well. And that might inspire a whole nother shoot.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. I must admit, I had, my thought process over the last week or so was, I don't think I'll be doing much with the 15 because it'll distort the body too much. But you've just thrown a whole bunch of...
Maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you imagine the weird shapes of kelp and stuff washed up on the beach. How those shapes and elongation, and that you can do that with the human body. You can twist and turn, and you get a strange angle with a leg, and then exacerbate that with a 15mm. You can get some really interesting stuff.
Yeah, nice.
That is twisting it beyond the normal human shape.
Yeah.
And twisting it beyond the whole normal human shape may be what makes it interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Cool.
So just all about seeing and thinking differently. My God, I think we should stop now, Bruce. I mean, the cat's obviously had a high impact on us. we've had a good session. Why spoil it now?
So what have you got on your list this week?
Look, I've got to say, the most exciting thing I saw this week, is Sony's in space. So Sony has launched a satellite called Starsphere. And get this, it's designed for me and you, Bruce.
Right.
I can log on to this device.
Yeah.
It's got a Sony, I think, A7 IV or something with a 28 to 105 or 28 to 135 lens on it.
Okay.
And you can control focal length, exposure, ISO, where it's pointing, and you can pick the arc is going to be going over a certain place, and you can photograph the Earth from space yourself.
What? The Earth from space?
Yes, it's a satellite in space. So they've launched a satellite into space with a camera pointing at Earth. That's going to be amateur accessible for us to be able to go, I want to take some photos of the Earth from space and do space photography.
That is crazy.
Is that not fantastic? Now, they've only just started doing the first test images to get the system working properly.
Man, we keep on saying, what a time to be alive.
Is that amazing?
Holy moly.
That's incredible.
That's off the charts.
It's off the planet, in fact. That's how far.
Boom, boom.
I saw that. I thought, what a bloody brilliant thing. That is just
huge.
So cool. So that I thought was pretty amazing. Remember how I think it was last episode we talked about the AI that won the photo competition with the surfers and the wave.
Yes.
Well, I didn't realise at the time that was DigiDirect, which is the big camera store group here in Australia.
Okay.
Well, they've launched another competition now, Humans versus Machine.
Oh, okay.
And people can submit AI images or human photographed images, and the judges will judge which they think's the best photo.
Right.
So
is it a blind test for the judges? They don't know which is which.
Yeah. And so it's a man versus machine contest, which I just think is brilliant.
Wow.
I think it's a great take on. They had so much good publicity. Well, so much publicity from that image, and then they've taken it and run them with it and say, "Hey, let's keep ourselves up there in the photo world."
Yeah.
And do it a little bit tongue in cheek, but I think it's a great idea,
For sure.
And I think that's the more and more we see about what AI is doing, and it's I've been seeing some remarkable imagery, just stunning. Oh my God, that is everything about it is gorgeous. Everything about that image is just incredible.
Yeah,
and it's all fake. And it's just like,
I don't think it's going to kill people's love of photography, though. I think it will inspire people to want to shoot better. At least that is my hope, anyway.
Yeah, but they can't shoot that. 99.9% of the people on the planet won't be able to shoot anything remotely like what this AI is. The lighting this AI stuff can do is beyond masterclass.
Yeah,
because it's not just lighting the subject. I mean, it's the way it lights the scenes.
Yes, it's the sculpting of light.
It's the sculpting of light through a scene which we can never control.
Yeah,
unless we're Hollywood with $1 million budget.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
For one scene. They sculpt every nuance of light in the entire scene, and it really is painterly more than it's a painter's rendition of the photographers.
I remember seeing. I can't remember who the photographer was now. Was it Annie Leibovitz? I don't know. I don't think it was. I think it was somebody else. But I remember there was Michelle Pfeiffer, and she was wearing these really, really expensive jewels that were on display at a museum, and they wanted to do this photo shoot with Michelle Pfeiffer as the model and highlighting these jewels that she was wearing. And I remember reading about the lighting setup for this shot, and it was, there was one off-camera flash, highly snooted, that was designed to just light up this jewel that sat on a breastbone, basically.
And you can't move a millimeter because it affects the whole lot. Yeah,
exactly. And as you say, AI can do it in the blink of an eye. Digital eye at that.
Crazy, isn't it?
It is.
My only other AI thing this week was a guy's built a camera, which I thought was quite amazing, where he can take a picture with his camera, and it has a little like a Fuji printer built inside, which so he takes a photo. There's a Raspberry Pi computer inside which describes the photo and sends it to AI. The AI generates an image, and the little Fuji printer inside the camera prints out the AI's version of what it saw.
Right.
What it thinks what it thinks you saw. And whilst this seems bizarre, I was starting to think about, what's the possibilities for things like blind people? where all of a sudden, if a computer can render the stuff it sees in front of, I don't know, whether you can describe a scene. It could be reading a book, and there's a computer that generates the image of what you're reading, and can somehow flash that image into the brain of a blind person. They can see what they're reading. I mean, there's a computer's ability to generate imagery and then share it. Could be a whole new world coming.
Well, I mean, I have read that sort of technology is being developed, at the moment. This idea of being able to take digital data and feed it into the optic nerve of a human being so as to do exactly what you're describing, allow the blind to actually see. They don't use an eye, they're using a digital input.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not ready for prime time yet, but I mean, it's coming. And once it does arrive, then you won't even need the AI component. I mean, you'll be able to take our existing photos and they'll be able to see those in the same way that you and I do.
But then they'll be able to read books and see.
Absolutely.
Who knows? But I mean, I think like a lot of stuff, we're only scratching the surface of what this AI is, how it's going to change the world.
Totally.
For better or worse. I mean, it may terminate us and become self-aware and go, no, I'm better than all of you guys. Yeah, that could change the world maybe for the better. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's I mean, we're like a year into AI.
Yeah. Yeah,
and it's already better than most of what humans can do.
Yeah, exactly.
God, I think it's fascinating stuff to watch. As much as it may damage a lot of, it's a disruptor, as we know.
Of course,
it's disrupt a lot of stuff.
Of course,
but maybe. But how has the world improved by disruptions in the past? We no longer need to work in factories, making clogs or whatever,
Yeah.
We don't have to. All the industrial revolution had it. For better or worse, changed the world.
Yeah.
Computers change the world. Everything. So this is just another tool that's going to shift the way we do stuff and give us more free time to do nothing like we normally to watch Netflix.
Yep. Exactly.
Which will be all AI generated because who needs actors?
That's it.
Because they want the time off. God.
Yeah.
And the last thing I had was about this couple that found 2,000 plus cameras and lenses in a storage unit.
I know. Isn't this amazing?
Yeah, and their boss, this woman's boss said, I need the storage unit cleared out. If you do it, you can keep whatever's inside it. Because there's some old guys, he didn't know what was in it. And there's 2,000 plus cameras. Just a huge haul of amazing stuff,
That is phenomenal.
Remarkable. And it looks like
everything's in boxes and all just stacked up on shelves and...
Yeah, well, this is what they've done. They've been sorting through it for months.
Yeah, right.
And slowly trying to organise it all and get it sorted. But it's all. It's not like it's all like rare Leicas or anything like that kind of stuff. It's all normal-ish stuff. But they've got an example here. They sold a Minolta 135mm f2.
Yeah.
Sold on eBay for $2,340.
What?
So.
Was that the AF version of that lens?
No, that's the MD, so it's the manual.
$2,000?
Yeah.
What?
A bit sus, though. A bit suspicious. They only had one bid.
Yeah, that's a bit weird.
But one bid at $2,340 is a strange price to put up.
Yeah.
As a starting price for something.
Very odd. And that seems exorbitantly high for that lens in a manual focus.
Well, I don't know. I've been told recently the Olympus 20mm Zuiko lenses, their old manual focus ones, are going between $5,000 and $8,000 a piece because they're being pulled. Because there's something about the lenses, they're being pulled apart and used in other devices. In some industrial devices, and it's much cheaper to do that than build an entire new. So this is going like hotcakes. I know guys sold 3 of them.
Wow! So people are basically dismantling them and using them as spare parts.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but it's for the optical stuff for a particular industrial use. Yeah, so it's a very niche thing, but some things are worth a lot of money to people.
That the Minolta 135 2.8, I had the AF version of that lens, and it was just a cracker of a lens. In fact, I still have one in the cupboard.
They were very plasticky, though, the old Minolta autofocus, the early ones, I thought. Compared to modern,
not the 135-2.8. It's hard. It's not plastic. Yeah.
The autofocus.
Let me find it. Let me find it. There it is, right there.
Yeah, plastic, yeah.
Oh, that front bit is?
It's plastic. It's
okay. All right. Still a cracker of a lens, though.
Oh, yeah, great lens, but from the way I look after gear, that's plastic and will be smashed to pieces.
That's not going to survive the Glyn bounce down the steps of the bus test.
That's no joy at all. No sense. Yeah. So, I mean, that's my only thing about the early autofocus stuff. A lot of the Canon, Nikon were the same. A lot of their stuff was pretty poorly compared to what we came from. The quality of the manual focus stuff, the build quality, and then it changed to autofocus. Whether they're had to make the lens bodies really light so the autofocus could move faster. I'm assuming because the motors weren't very strong.
Right.
But the build quality really went down the toilet it gone from solid metal. Which is what the 135-2.8 manual focus Minolta lens was.
Right.
I mean, completely. Yeah, you could use that as a hammer if you needed to, and then shoot whatever you just hammered in. But so that shift from the old days of manual focus to autofocus was a massive build quality difference.
Okay.
But anyways,
fair enough.
I digress. That's it. That's all I got for the week. What you got? That's exciting. If not, well, let's go then.
Since 2005, Shutters Inc. has been a labour of love. But beyond the time required to produce it, there is also a financial commitment. If you find value in the podcast and would like to help keep the servers running, hit up the Patreon link, which is in the show notes. Even a couple of dollars a month will help. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
So, one thing that I saw pop up on my Facebook feed yesterday is that the Steve McCurry exhibition called Icons is coming to Sydney. So for those who are interested, it'll be...
Icon. That's a pretty good name for him, actually, isn't it?
Oh, you're sounding bitter, Mr. Lavender.
No. Oh, I'm no longer a photo journalist. I'm now an artistic photographer from McCurry.
So anyway, for those who are in Sydney and are interested, it opens on the 12th of April. However, you do need to pre-register and go on a wait list for tickets. So that link will be in the show notes for anyone who would like to pre-register for that exhibition. Paul Sutton sent us a few things. One is a link on petapixel.com to a photography museum that is shaped like a giant SLR camera. In other words, the building itself is made to look like a camera. And he said it's a little way out of Perth. It is unmistakable, and there are hundreds of old cameras in there.
Here's the weird thing, though. See, there's 36 rooms inside it. Right?
Okay.
And you go into room 1 and stand there, and you go, okay, finish, and someone winds you on, and you slide into the next room.
And you can never go back.
Well, you can, but you double see everything, double exposure.
I love it. The next thing he sent us was a link to fastone.org. This was in relation to what we were talking about, or what you were talking about a couple episodes ago, about there not being a free image editor on PC that would replace what Google Picasa was. And he said Fastone Image Viewer is the best image viewer for $0 that I've yet found on the PC. Image Viewer does everything you're asking for. So I'll put that link in the show notes. So for anyone who is looking for a free, basic photo editor for the Windows platform, I don't know. Does Fastone Image Viewer, is that a Mac thing as well?
I don't know. I'm just having to see what it actually does. File tag, histogram, compare images, slideshow print, full screen view. So I'm seeing more viewer than editor is what I'm seeing.
Right.
It says powerful image editing tools include resize, resample, rotate, flip, crop, sharpen, blur, adjust lighting, colors, curves, levels. That's pretty good.
Well, that's kind of what you were asking for.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you were saying, you know, for the just the amateur photographer who doesn't want to spend on, you know, a subscription to Lightroom, etc.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Paul. The next one he had was a link to an article about Anne Geddes on Petapixel. And he said everyone wants to make their shots like hers. What I'm appreciating about the shots is how simple they are. I know they're really iconic and totally recognisable, but the best, and he's talking about the best in any field, are known for how good they are. Think Hank Marvin, Mark Knopfler, Joe Satriani, Jeff Beck, who are all guitarists, Ansel Adams, who's a photographer. You know, and he says you get what I mean. So yeah. Anyway,
I agree. She was very good in the day.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many baby newborn photographers out there even trying to do anything remotely like she does, because they don't have a lot of respect for her work.
Right.
Having spoken to many baby photographers.
Yep. Look, again, I think
there's a lot of cringeworthy stuff. Yeah, in Anne Geddes stuff. Yes, you know, it's not everyone's cup of tea. I mean,
no,
I guarantee there's certain people on the planet would absolutely go gaga over Anne Geddes stuff. But a lot of the newborn and look, a lot of the newborn baby stuff from 10 years ago is now frowned upon. Not even all the stuff with like the props and stuff is all gone by the way. Now it's really classic, just simple, plain background, baby.
I feel like
maybe in a wrap.
More than any other genre, baby photography really seems to go through fads.
Yeah.
Much more than wedding photography, much more than real estate photography. And look, you know, I sort of harken back to what I said earlier in this episode about, you know, you discover a new thing on Instagram and you love it the first 10, 20 times you see it, but after a while it's just like, yep, seen it. And even though I don't particularly, you know, get inspired by baby photography, I remember the first time I saw Anne Geddes stuff, I was like, wow, that's really cool. It's creative and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But again, after you've seen it 100 times, it's just like, okay, it's another Anne Geddes.
Baby sitting in some lettuce with a piece of lettuce on its head.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, I will say one thing for her, is that you can see one of her images from afar and know that it's Anne Geddes.
Iconic, yeah.
So,
no disputing her vision, her time in the sun in the 90s when we used to do spot colour photos, you know, with the red rose and everything else black and white, because that was so good looking too. No denying, and her ability to create something that was never seen before, brilliant. You know? I just don't think anyone now would be trying to emulate her work. I would highly recommend it if anyone likes baby photography. Look at my friend Kristen Cook's baby photography. So it's Kristen Kristen Cook, remarkable baby photographer and wedding photographer. But her and the thing is, the one great thing about her work is simplicity.
Right.
Yeah, and simplicity, an image that isn't trying to be cute or do too much, won't tend to go out of style. Now, I guarantee anyone who's got an Anne Geddes picture on their wall still, you know, is only because they can't reach it because of all the rest of the stuff they're hoarding in that room. But, I mean, that you wouldn't hang that. But you know, you see people had photos up with their kids. They've got 30-year-old children now, but they've still got photos up when they were 5 years old. Well, I'm thinking if you've got an Anne Geddes type image of your kid up on the wall, it's looking pretty oof these days. But if you've got a classic black and white, gorgeous shot of you just being you at 10 days old or whatever, that's never going to date.
It's funny you should mention that, because when Kath and Max and I went on our last cruise, where it was all three of us, we did something I thought I would never do, and that was we sat for a portrait photographer on the ship. Now, I'm not talking about the stuff when you walk down into the foyer of the ship and they're set up with backdrops and blah, 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 and they just, you know, run them through, you know, 3 couples every minute. This was one where they actually took us off to a studio and we had a portrait sitting with this photographer, that lasted probably half hour, 40 minutes, and we actually paid for these images at the end, and they're all black and white, and they're all hanging up in our lounge room at the moment. And the single image of Max, he's just standing there, like we were dressed for dinner, so we were all dressed up nicely. And Max is in, black pants, nice shirt, and he's got a jacket thrown over his shoulder, and it's just beautifully lit, and it's simple, black backdrop, and it's never going to date.
Simple doesn't date.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was looking at that image just this morning and going, oh man, I love that image of Max.
Now, if he was sitting there with a piece of lettuce on his head...
As a 19-year-old.
Or as a gun, exactly, or as a gun nut baby, I've just shot through Kristen's website for you guys to put a link in the notes.
Awesome.
So
Fantastic.
go look at some of her work and tell me how much of that stuff's going to date.
Yeah, right.
How much of that stuff... I mean, she's got a very consistent body of work, but I've not seen a single image of hers that I would say, oh, that's going to look crap in 10 years.
Right.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of Geddes stuff I can look at that I kind of cringe a little bit.
Yeah, right. Cool.
But again, that's taste though as well. That's personal taste. Yeah.
Of course. And the last thing that Paul sent us was at science.org. Declassified U-2 spy plane.
Declassified? Was that a plane pun? Declassified?
No, that was just me tripping over my tongue. Declassified U-2 spy plane photos are a boom to aerial archaeology. Okay. I've not had a chance to look at this story.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so much archaeology being discovered by looking at Google Earth and drones and obviously this stuff would be a great resource. I mean, there's images there of a Mesopotamian villages.
Yeah, right.
1960, one's inhabited, one abandoned. And you can say, well, yeah, you can see how they've morphed, but I wonder why they moved. They only moved over the hill.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you can find so much from... And I actually do this a bit because I'm planning a trip to the UK.
Yeah.
And I love archaeology. And so I just Google fly over areas where and just look for shapes in the ground and stuff that could be old roundhouses or Roman forts and stuff like that. It's amazing what you discover.
Totally.
The patterns and shapes and stuff you see,
Yeah. I love doing the same thing. I can lose hours on Google Maps. Very easily. Cool. All right. Well, that is it. Thank you, Paul, for those links. They will be in the show notes for anyone that wants to follow those up. What do you got on for the next couple of weeks, Mr. Lavender?
Well, nothing.
How's the guitaring?
Oh, good. I've got my new Strat arrived this week.
Of course it did.
So I've now got 5 guitars I can't play.
Excellent.
Fabulous, yeah, but I've completed the set so far. I just need a semi-hollow body guitar now, and add that to the things I can't play, and then I'll start looking at the other ones I don't have.
Right.
It's rather sad.
No, given up on the metal detecting?
No, it's still there. It's a health thing. It's not
right.
Not easy to go walking up and down steep ravines and hills and having your heart explode.
Right.
So
well, maybe you could just do it on the beach. It'll be gentle exercise.
It's not. I don't want to find people's lost jewellery. I want to find gold nuggets.
Right.
Nuggets is what I'm after. But I do have a 3-day fly fishing weekend coming up at the end of the month, so I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. So where are you going to go?
Camping. Up around Mount Buffalo and the northeast Victoria.
Yeah, nice.
Up the mountain streams, so...
Beautiful.
I have to get myself... So I'm going to hang up here and go for a 15k bike ride to, keep slowly improving my my health.
Excellent. Take it easy.
Oh, yeah. I'll just try not to blow up with a valve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very embarrassing.
All right, mate. Well, have a good one.
Thank you. Take care, everybody, and talk to you next week.
In 2 weeks. 2 weeks, maybe. Yeah. See ya.
You've been listening to Shutters Inc. For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.